Good morning, dear students. As yesterday we have discussed about the reduction theory on the basis of Ellingham diagram in case of iron. So, yesterday we have discussed that above 1073 Kelvin, the iron oxide can be reduced by carbon, while below 1073 Kelvin, it can be easily reduced by carbon monoxide. So now let's start with the extraction of iron or metallurgy of the iron. So as we know that iron is the fourth most abundant metal in the earth crust, or you may say it is the second most abundant metal found in the earth crust. The different ores from which we can extract iron are hematite, that is also known as the red oxide of iron due to its red color. The formula is Fe2O3. Magnetite means magnetic oxide of iron, Fe3O4, it is black in color. Limonite, that is hydrated oxide, Fe2O3.3S2O. Siderite or spathic ore, the formula is FeCO3, means iron carbonate, that is also known as clay iron stone due to the presence of clay found in FeCO3. Iron pyrite, that is also known as fool's gold, formula is FeS2. Chalcopyrite, that is CuFeS2. With the chalcopyrite, generally we extract copper from this particular ore. So these five are the main ores from which we can obtain the iron. Generally, the extraction of iron is to be done with oxides of iron. So let's see, as we have already discussed the different steps during the extraction of a particular metal. The first is the crushing process, that you know well. The first process that we have already discussed. We have discussed the complete processes except purification, that we will discuss later on finally after these metallurgies. So the first process that we have to go through is the crushing process. In the process, the ore is crushed by the jaw crushers and washed to remove all the clay and sand present into it. The second process that we are to go through is the benefaction or concentration of the ore. So it is to be done by the gravity separation method that we have already discussed. In the gravity separation method, what we are to do, the ore is being heavy and the impurities are lighter in nature. So that has been washed with the flow of, or you may say the current of water, and the gangue can be separate out from the ore. So it is to be done by the concentration, is to be done by the gravity separation method. Now the next step is to obtain the crude metal from the ore. So for the process, we are to go through in the case for the with the calcination process. We have studied about the calcination and the roasting process. In the calcination process, either we are to supply the less amount of air or the absence of air, while in case of roasting, the excess supply of air is being used. So here the calcination process is to be taken, in which the first point that we have already discussed is the moisture is removed. The second point, the different impurities such as phosphorus, the non-volatile impurities such as phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, they or manganese, they would be converted or oxidized into their oxides to give the volatile oxides and can be removed. In the similar manner, as we are taking the oxide ores in the case, so in case of oxides, the moisture would be removed. If suppose we have taken the limonite ore, so that would be the hydrate one, water molecule would be removed in the case and ore become porous in the case. If suppose we are doing the extraction from FeCO3, means we are doing the extraction from siderite ore, so it would be converted into its oxide and carbon dioxide would be removed. That iron oxide would also be oxidized to Fe2O3 in the case. And if suppose we are taking the sulfide ore, means iron pyrite ore, then also it would be oxidized to form the hematite ore, from which we are going to extract the iron metal, and the SO2 would be removed in the form of gas. Now the next process is the reduction process, the reduction of the oxide ore, because by all the ores we have got the oxide ore now. So now this oxide ore is being reduced to the iron metal by the reduction process, and the reduction with the help of coke, coal or charcoal is known as the smelting process, and this process is to be done in the blast furnace. In the blast furnace, reduction of iron oxide takes place at different temperature. Why it is so? Because that we have discussed in the theory of reduction process by the thermodynamic prospects. So two different temperature that we have discussed there. So let's see what is the blast furnace. This is the blast furnace that can be subdivided into three parts. The first is double cup and cone arrangement. This blast furnace, in which the smelting is to be done, can be subdivided into three parts. The first part is double cup and cone arrangement, the second part is the shaft, and the third part is the hearth. So what is double cup and cone arrangement? As we are able to see in the furnace, this is the uppermost part by which the charge is dropped. What is charge? Charge contain ore plus coke plus limestone. Ore, coke and limestone would be there in 8:4:1. So that is being dropped by the double cup and cone arrangement, by which the exit of different gases would be stopped. Because when the charge would be dropped, the first cone would be open, then it comes to the next one, and the lid of this cone would be closed. Thereafter the charge would be dropped in the hearth, or you may say in the furnace. So it prevents the exit of gases during the charging process. Now the next is shaft. It is formed by two cones. The upper one is called the body. It is having two cones, you may say. The first one is known as the body and second one is known as the boss. In the uppermost part, we are able to see there is a hole for the exit of waste gases, while in the lower part we are able to see the toiets are attached, by which the hot air blast is passed to the furnace. And the last part is hearth, that is like a big crucible having two holes, first for the exit of slag and second for the exit of molten metal. Now let's see, as we are able to see here, we are having different temperate zone, how they have been created in the blast furnace. So the first zone in which we are able to see 2170 Kelvin, that is known as the zone of combustion. So let's see, the zone of combustion is having the temperature of 2170 Kelvin. What happened that when the charge is dropped, the hot air blast is passed at the same time, that is having preheated air that is having the temperature around 1000 Kelvin is also passed at the same time to the furnace. Now what happened? The coke that we have introduced in charge would be oxidized to form carbon dioxide, and that is a highly exothermic reaction that we are able to see with the help of the value, that the value of del H is equal to minus 393.3 kilojoule. So the temperature of 2170 Kelvin is created in this particular zone. The next zone can also be included in the same zone of combustion. Still, we have written with the next name, that is zone of heat absorption. That is the another zone, as we are able to see in the diagram, 1423 Kelvin to 1673 Kelvin. This is the zone of absorption, heat absorption, in which what we see, that when the carbon dioxide is produced, it will go up to the furnace and it again meet to the red hot charge, and now carbon dioxide would be reduced to carbon monoxide, and as it is an endothermic process, so now temperature will be converted to the approx 1423 Kelvin. Now it becomes low. The temperature would be lower down till 1423 Kelvin in this particular zone. Now the next zone is zone of slag formation. Here we are able to see the zone of slag formation. It is almost the middle zone of the furnace. It is the middle zone of the furnace, in which what happened, the calcium carbonate that we have taken in the charge, when we have taken charge that contains ore plus coke plus limestone, and limestone is calcium carbonate, at this particular temperature at 1123 Kelvin, it would be decomposed to give calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. It is again an endothermic process, and this calcium oxide will work like a flux. It works like a flux and reacts with the acidic impurity, that is a basic flux, react with acidic impurity to form the slag, calcium silicate, and would be collected in the hearth. Except this, in this slag formation zone, the different impurities of phosphates, silicate, magnates would be converted or would be reduced into the phosphorus, silicon, manganese, and will get dissolved into the molten iron as the impurities. Now the next zone is zone of reduction. In the zone of reduction, that is there the upper part of the furnace, as we are able to see in the diagram. Here the temperature would be around 523 Kelvin to 900 Kelvin. That is the zone of reduction. Around 500 Kelvin to 900 Kelvin we are having the temperature, at which what will happen, as we have taken the hematite ore, so that would be reduced by carbon monoxide formed during the process, as the carbon monoxide is formed during the heat absorption process. So that carbon monoxide reduced iron oxide to form ferro oxide. We know that this is a mixture of both the iron oxides and carbon dioxide at 573 to the 673 Kelvin. That is the uppermost zone of reduction. Now further this this oxide formed again further reduced by carbon monoxide at a bit higher temperature and converted into iron and carbon dioxide. Now some of the amount of iron oxide again reduced with carbon monoxide to give ferric oxide. So these all the processes go on simultaneously. And now, as we have discussed in the theory of reduction, that greater than 1073 Kelvin, the carbon would be the reducing agent, and below this temperature carbon monoxide would be the reducing agent. So now the formed FeO, some amount of Fe2O3 and Fe3O4 also would got reduced with carbon, that is at greater than 1073 Kelvin temperature. That is the zone a bit below from the zone of reduction. That is in between the zone of reduction and zone of slag formation, you may say. So here what will happen, it would be reduced by carbon and it gives iron into the liquid state, you may say first, and carbon monoxide would be released. All the waste gases would be exit through this hole. And now the next zone is the zone of fusion. That is the last zone, is having the temperature 1423 Kelvin to 1673 Kelvin. This is the lower part of the furnace, and temperature, as I have told you, this is the temperature. Now this spongy iron that melts and dissolves some carbon, sulfur, phosphorus, silicon and manganese that I have told you in the zone of slag formation these are formed, and calcium silicate also melt and it moved towards the earth, being collected towards the earth. As calcium silicate slag being lighter that form the upper layer, while molten iron that is heavier form the lower layer. Now they can be collected from these two holes. Slag would be removed and the molten metal that is also known as the pig iron, it is having the impurities of carbon, sulfur, phosphorus, silicon, manganese is being collected. It is also having the 4% impurity of carbon and other impurities as I have told you. Now this pig iron can be converted into cast iron by casting it with the help of scrap iron and coke, and hot air blast is passed through this mixture, by which this pig iron would be converted into cast iron that is now having the little less impurities, around 3% of carbon, and it is hard and brittle in nature. Now we will discuss later on about the formation of wrought iron, and we will study the difference between these three type of iron. Thank you.